Nation. I love doing top 10s, even though they take a long time to upload, and it really aggravates me at times, but hopefully this won't be a long video. I just got done playing God of War, which is officially my last PS4 game. Now, we'll go back occasionally to do a random video game review of a game I've played before, or a game I haven't played before. I have a bunch of PS4 games I still haven't beaten, but I'm getting ready to start. Hogwarts Legacy will be hopefully in my doorstep on February 10th. And that will be my first new generation video game. And it was a very interesting generation of Gen 8. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to do a top 10 video games of the Generation 8 video games. Now, these are my opinions. These are not your opinions. So don't get your feelings hurt. And I have a very interesting gaming taste. I'm into single player video games. I just watch this YouTube channel, and I have done a lot of YouTube reviews on video games. I'm hoping in the future I can get a little better at it. I'm already off to a really good start. After you've seen my God of War review, if you haven't checked it out, check that out right now on the YouTube channel. But anyways, let us begin with the top 10. And there is no honorable mentions. I felt like 10 games are good enough. At number 10, I'm going with Final Fantasy VII, the remake. The Final Fantasy VII game was a game I was kind of wary of buying. I think I bought it. I saw it really cheap online, and I was like, let's try this out. I like Kingdom Hearts because that was my only connection to the Final Fantasy world, the Square Enix. Those are the only games I ever played, and this game was awesome. The gameplay is great. The story's very cool. I like how someone's basically told me, yeah, the city part is like a very small section of the game, and that's the entire game. I like how they expand stuff. Sephiroth is very intimidating in the game, and I like there's this connection between him and Cloud. I really enjoyed Final Fantasy VII. I'm really shocked that this actually made my top 10, but I remember when I played it, I was going through a bunch of games at a time, and I think it was there when COVID first happened, and Final Fantasy VII was one of those games. I was like, oh man, this is such a really good game, and the gameplay's fun. It's very action-oriented, which is kind of my style of game. So overall, Final Fantasy VII, you're my number 10 game on my list, and I'm glad you made it. I'm looking forward to seeing the part 2 of this game. My number 9 is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan. I've loved a lot of their games, and this generation, I felt like the games were on a downward spiral, and may not be the Assassin's Creed game people love, but for me, I love it, and that's Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, is it a perfect Assassin's Creed game? Absolutely not. Does the real world stuff still feel very unbalanced? Absolutely. But I love the Greek world. I love the history around it. I think Assassin's Creed always nails the history of their games, and I thought they really did a good job of integrating like Socrates into the game, from Pericles. There are so many cool little stuff in this game. Even fight like mythical monsters, which I was like, okay, they're kind of corrupted by a piece of Eden, and I was like, okay, that's a kind of interesting way to do it. And I really like the main character of Cassandra. I think she's a very cool hero, and I like the RPG elements of this game. I like it. I think this game is a little more fleshed out, a little bit better than what they did with Origins. I like the Origins story better than Odyssey, but I think the Odyssey plays better as a video game, and it may not be the best Assassin's Creed game, but it's a very good video game, and that's why it's number 9 on this list. My number 8 is Horizon Zero Dawn, and this is really one of the last game reviews I did, other than like Pokemon, obviously. But Horizon, I always was told, you gotta play Horizon, you gotta play Horizon. I remember seeing the trailers, and like, she fight dinosaurs? It was like a mechanical dinosaur. I was like, okay, sure, I'll check that out eventually. And so I eventually played this game, and I had to say, this game was a lot of fun. I love the RPGs. That's kind of my wheelhouse. And I really like the main character of Aloy. I think she's a very cool heroine character. We don't see a lot of cool female heroes in the medium at times, but when the games do it right, they are here to last. And I really like the story. I like the apocalypse. I like everything they set up. And I really like the gameplay. I like using the bow. I like using the bow as a weapon. I believe you do. The stories, like I said, the story's very interesting. The connection to the real world, or not to the real world, but to the past. And I think Horizon Zero Dawn is a very, very good game, and I'm looking forward to playing Forbidden West. I know the game's been out for a while, but once I get done with Hogwarts Legacy, oh man, there's going to be all kinds of games I'm going to play. My number 7 is a game I just reviewed, literally, and that is God of War. This is a game I started about 4 times, and I don't know why it took me so long to actually play the game, because I absolutely really enjoyed God of War. And this is someone who doesn't love Viking stuff, but I think it has something to do with it's more about the mythology than the actual Viking itself. And I really like where they took Kratos in this story, because, I never played the God of War games, but I like how he's kind of involved. He's like when at the end of the game, he tells the one guy, he says, listen, revenge, it's going to lead you anywhere, it's just going to make you feel empty inside. And you're like, yeah, that was him. And I liked his connection with his son. I think it was a good father-son story about a quest that their mom wanted them to take. I like and the gameplay was a lot of fun. I love Leviathan's axe. I like how it's basically Mimir. I like bringing in the Chaos blades. I thought that was really cool. Overall, I think God of War was a great game, and it's definitely worthy of being on this list. My number 6 is Fallout 4. If anybody knows me, Fallout is my favorite video game of all time, and Fallout 3 was my favorite video game of all time. It was my favorite video game of the last generation of video games. And so I was interested to check out Fallout 4, because Fallout 4 it's set in Boston this time, made by Bethesda, one of my favorite gaming studios. Hate that they sold out to Microsoft, but it is what it is. I really like this game. I mean, it has the RPG elements, like I was talking about some of my other games. It's some of the things I love a lot in games, where you can just play character, you go off, you wander, you scavenge, you fight these mutant creatures. The story was very interesting. I like how you could side with the evil Terminators, the evil Skynet people, the Commonwealth, or the Institute. You could team up with the Minutemen. You could join the Nazi-like people of the Brotherhood of Steel. Fallout 4 was an awesome video game. I mean, just a lot of cool gameplay. It took a lot of stuff that was in Fallout 3 and Skyrim and just enhanced it again. I'm looking forward to Starfield if that ever comes out, because I'll probably have to sell out if I finally got that Xbox I don't really want to buy. My number 5 is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. We're 2 months away from Star Wars Jedi Exile, and I'm really looking forward to the game. But Jedi Fallen Order came in a dark time of my Star Wars fandom, because this came out in 2019. This is the year of Rise of Skywalker. And I remember walking out of 2019 saying there was only 2 good things that happened this year with Star Wars. That was The Mandalorian, because that came out 2019, and Jedi Fallen Order. The gameplay is awesome. The gameplay is very, very hard. It's one of those games I had to turn difficulty really, really down, because I'm not the greatest gameplay. I'm not the greatest at video games at times, but I really like the action. I really like the lightsaber combat. These stormtroopers, are these still the clone stormtroopers? Because they are good. I really like the story about how you're trying to continue the Jedi Order, and in the ending you realize, no, if I do this, it's going to create a target. I can't do this. And I love the worlds we go to. Kashyyyk was awesome to see. It was cool to see Dathomir, the ruins of Dathomir, connected itself to the Clone Wars stories that they did in the Clone Wars show. I mean, it just shows how good Star Wars canon is at times. And the main character of Cal Kestis is just such a cool hero that I love. I love Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. It was a game that was hard to put this low, but there are 4 more games. It impacted me a little better. My number 4 is Dragon Age Inquisition. Dragon Age Inquisition, it's the 3rd game of the Dragon Age series, and I'm a huge Dragon Age fan. Dragon Age Origins, I played that game so many times. Dragon Age 2, I really enjoyed. And Dragon Age Inquisition is just like that. It's much more open world. There's a lot more RPG elements in this game. And I really like the story about how you're trying to stop the terror in the sky from completely destroying the world. I like the heroes. I like the characters you create. I love the companions, like Barrack, see Barrack come back. And then I'm even setting up Solus as the Dread Wolf, which is going to be the next Dragon Age game. But other characters of Cassandra, Josephine, Cohen as a character who was in every Dragon Age game. I mean, Dragon Age, I like the story, I like the church stuff elements of it, and this game was the first game I played on, well, this was the first game I really enjoyed playing, because the first game was Destiny, and Destiny was Destiny. So, yeah, Dragon Age Inquisition had to be number 4 on this list. My number 3 is Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. I love the Uncharted games. I think the first 3 Uncharted games are great, but I think Uncharted 4 is the best game of the trilogy, or of all 4 of them, because I really like seeing Nathan Drake's story where he's kind of retired, and at the end he says, one last time, they introduce a character of his brother, who is a very, very cool character, very similar to Nate in a lot of elements, where him and Layla kind of have this falling out at the end, but then they get back together, and the ending's a very sweet ending. I really, like I said, Uncharted 4 is absolutely terrific. The gameplay is much more improved. The story is, I think, a perfect story. Kind of made me tear up at the end. And so yeah, Uncharted 4, holy crap, what a good game. My number 2 is Spider-Man. Spider-Man, this was a game which I was very interested in because I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I have the PS4 Spider-Man, the PS Pro. I just had to have. I'm a big Spider-Man fan, and all the stuff they did in this to bring it into Sinister Six. I mean, the story choices they make. I mean, other than the Miles Morales Spider-Man movie and even the No Way Home, this is my favorite Spider-Man. This is the best they've ever done. Mary Jane Watson. You really get why Spider-Man and her really click together, and this game really shows it. The villains are great. Bringing in a character who is a very minor character or a character written for the game was really cool. Like I said, Sinister Six is cool. And then that switch when you bring in Dr. Octavius and he's Doc Ock is just such a holy crap moment. I love this game. And then the ending, it made me cry. It was a beautiful ending. And my number 1 video game of the Generation 8 video games is the Ghost of Tsushima. The Ghost of Tsushima was a game I was looking forward to for many, many years. Because I heard about it, I was like, oh cool, samurai game, kind of set right before all this stuff, and you're going to play as a samurai. And this game, it not only delivered, it delivered on every level. Because I love Japanese culture. I studied Japanese history in college. And the game really gets the Japanese culture really, really well. About how it means to be a samurai, about following the ways, and how he has to kind of go off the ways. It's that line from The Dark Knight. You die here, you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And he has to go to the dark side. He has to do things that he may not be too comfortable with, but he says, I'm willing to take that sacrifice and save my family and save my people from this suffering. The action is absolutely incredible. I love the different stances, how you have to fight. There's different enemies in the game, and so you have to switch your stances every time to fight different enemies to make it easier to fight. I mean, you can fight them all in one stance, but you can make it easier by switching to the 4 different stances. And that's what I really liked the game. The story was great. I love Ghost of Tsushima. It's a game that I'm looking forward to seeing a sequel of, and it has that connection to the Akira Kurosawa films, which I'm a big fan. So for all the connections to history, to awesome samurai movies, and just a great video game, Ghost of Tsushima had to be my number 1 video game on this list. So guys, that ends my video of my top 10 video games of the Generation 8 video games. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. What are your games that you don't have to listen to top 10, but tell me, what's a game on this, or a game that came out on the PS4, Xbox One generation that you were like, that was the game of the generation. For me, it goes to Tsushima. But what was your game of the generation? Whatever they are, comment below. Let me know. And guys, if you like this video, click thumbs up, subscribe to see more, and tell your friends about Easy Nation. All too easy.